What's up, everybody? You're back in here with the Pro Football Pod. You've got Hulk, you've got Coach. We've got you handled this week. Fantasy Football for Dummies. The playlist is, we're rolling on. We're blazing through it right now. Hit that subscribe button down below. 500 subscribers, one free jersey to one of you lucky viewers. Who doesn't like free shit? Everybody likes it. Go ahead and hit the button. Notification bell up in the top so that way you get our episodes first. Tasty little treats for you throughout the season. Today, we're diving into the draft strategies for PPR. If you haven't checked out the other draft strategies, be sure to hit the playlist and go check them out. PPR, for the most part, is how everybody plays now, whether it's half-point PPR or full PPR. And by that, for all you rookies out there, it's points per reception. For each reception, you get a point. Obviously, half-point PPR, you get a half a point. And so this is my favorite type of scoring system to be. Like, you can have a double quarterback PPR league as well. But as far as just overall scoring, I prefer PPR, not only because it adds more players to your pool, but everybody likes to see the higher scores. I love seeing 140 to 137 instead of like 94 to 83.
For me, I know that my team is potential to win a championship if I can get 200 at least once in the season. And the first team that hits 200, I think, is playoff bound almost every single year that we're in a league. If you can hit 200 points because you have enough people pop off any 1 week, then you're definitely looking good.
Yeah, because that means you have 3 to 4 guys that were able to get you 30 points each in a week, which
on average. That's
nice. And so that's 120 points coming from just half of your roster. Everybody loves to see that. So, like we kind of explained in the standard scoring episode, with this one, you're going to have a lot more value for your running backs that receive out of the backfield, as well as your slot receivers that are high volume guys, but they're not necessarily getting you the yardage that's going to make them sexy. So, I know the last couple years, Coach himself has been obsessed with the guy, but rightfully so. Austin Eckler is a PPR darling, or at least was. Christian McCaffrey, that's why he's the number 1 ranked guy across the board, because it doesn't matter what scoring system.
Let's talk about Austin Eckler is still the second ranked running back in a full PPR league right now. I don't know if I love that. I understand his position, his situation's changed, but we saw a lot of age coming out of Austin last year, and it didn't seem like it was all just injuries. I stopped really believing in him. Saquon and Bijan right behind him, I think I would easily go them above him.
What source are you looking at for that ranking right there?
Fantasy Pros.
That's what I've got here. I've got Bijan as the second in a PPR.
Oh, maybe I'm looking at 2023. Okay, yeah, okay.
Yeah, okay, there you go. I was like, Austin Eckler he's down the list here at 126 overall.
Yeah, see, that's kind of.
But you just said it there. He was the second ranked PPR guy last year, rightfully so, because he may have only gotten you 40 yards rushing on the ground, but he was getting you 8 receptions for 75 yards out of the backfield every week.
Exactly. And that's where these new guys like Jahmyr Gibbs, Breece Hall, honestly, Saquon Barkley. I think Saquon's in a much better situation than he's been in a long time. If he's capable of staying healthy, these guys are the type of running backs that you want. Whenever you get halfway down the list and you start touching guys like Aaron Jones and, we don't know if Jonathan Brooks is necessarily going to be receiving the ball a lot. If he does, that's where he's going to be a lot more valuable than the 25th ranked running back. But that's what it's all about, is what type of target share can these guys get, not just on the ground, but also through the air. 10 yards reception is, within a full point, that's 2 points instead of just 1 for 10 yards rushing.
Well, that, and also with a PPR scoring system, This is the type of system where I prefer to wait on my running back. Unless I've got a couple guys keyed up early, like a Jahmyr Gibbs, or actually like really high on Bijan this year, as well as Breece Hall. Like, if I miss out on one of those guys, I'm not sweating it, because there is immense value in PPR leagues when you get down the line. Because, for example, you look at like the Steelers backfield.
Jalen Warren.
Najee Harris and Jalen Warren are both 22 and 24 respectively on their running back rankings. However, I prefer Jalen Warren because he is able to give you more of the receiving out of the backfield. I don't want him to necessarily be my RB1, but if it came to that and my roster was stacked out with wide receivers that are high volume guys,
fortunately,
I'm okay with it.
In a half point at least, at 85, he doesn't have to be your RB1. You know, you can already have a guy like Ramondre Stevenson, Alvin Kamara, Joe Mixon that you take in the 5th to 6th round, and then you can get your RB2 and have a guy that has a lot of upside because of his ability to receive the ball.
Agreed. And that's where, to me, it almost PPR leagues cancel out guys like David Montgomery, Derrick Henry, guys like that are maybe getting 3 to 4 receptions and you're praying one pops off.
Yeah.
Like, they're highly ranked just because of the overall
Touchdowns.
volume that they're going to give you in just scoring in general. But to me, I find value in other places. PPR is the type of scoring system that made guys like Julian Edelman relevant as far as fantasy football went.
Wes Welker. I mean, Wes Welker had plenty of yards, but he didn't get a ton of touchdowns, but he had so many receptions that it made up for it.
Yeah, when you average 8 receptions a game, that you're minimum 8 points right there. And then you couple that with, okay, he got me 50 yards. Well, okay, I'll take 13 points, and then you tack a touchdown on there. We're in business.
Something that we talk about a lot is target share. Target share matters way more in a PPR league than it does anything else. In standard scoring, touchdowns matter more, but opportunities are everything.
And this is opportunities down the field, like all the way down the field between the 20s. Yeah. That's why, like, in a PPR, you're not necessarily focused on the red zone opportunities. They're nice, but if you can give me solid work between the 20s, like, you're able to completely make your way to the playoffs with the roster stacked out with high volume guys. Now, that's on you all to go in and do a little bit of research yourselves whenever you're getting your draft in strategy together. You know, I recommend everybody just not fully going into a draft blind. Especially, you know, if you're watching this video, you're a beginner, most likely, and you're trying to just learn and get tips and tricks. Do not go in it blind. I recommend whatever platform you're going on, go ahead and get into that draft room and set some guys in your queue. Write down a list, put a list on your computer somewhere of guys that you want to target. Go in and look at their stats on, like he said, target share. How many targets are they getting? How many receptions are they able to get out of those targets? Like, it's all about opportunity. That's why a guy like Jaden Reed becomes so valuable.
Exactly.
It's because you're getting those jet sweeps out of the backfield. You're getting screen passes. Like Michael Pittman, he gives you the standard scoring that you want, but PPR machine. Mike Evans kind of toes the line there. I know you hate Mike Evans, but how do you feel about a guy like Mike Evans in PPR scoring?
I feel like he's better in a standard because the big play touchdown is his deal. If he gets the touchdown and the big play, then he's worth it. But he's not as like, all right, he's going 32nd overall in a standard. In a full PPR, he's going 22nd. So I don't know if I agree with that thought process. I think that in a standard, he has that much more value because his ability to get an average touchdown much faster than everybody else, like less targets necessary, is why he has so much value. I think a guy like Chris Olave.
Last year he he had a great season with Baker, like 136 targets, 79 receptions, 1,200 yards, 13 touchdowns.
79 receptions, and we're taking him like he should be 22nd overall in standard and 32nd overall in PPR. Like, just giving us where I would value him for both. 79 receptions is not the 22nd best in the NFL. Like, if you're not getting 100 receptions, he's at a lot of targets, but he's not receiving the ball enough.
So Olave, with basically the same amount of targets, gave you 87 receptions. So, I mean, while you're only looking at like 8 more receptions,
that's
still looking at roughly the same amount of yards. However, it's 5 touchdowns versus 13 touchdowns, which is just an insane season.
Yeah, but I don't know if there's got to be a little, maybe not. I mean, maybe he doesn't regress at all, but I don't know if he's going to get 13 touchdowns again. I feel like Godwin was
double
hurt.
Digits in 3 of the last 4 years.
Godwin was banged up a lot last year, but we're getting on a tangent here.
We are. Mike Evans always gets us off the rails. Sorry about that, everybody. All right, so, I mean, PPR in a PPR league, I don't know about you, I also prefer to wait on my quarterback.
Agreed. I think that the quarterback position, especially if it's I prefer half-point PPR with 6 points for the quarterback. I think that that's the ideal, because a touchdown, 6 points. And in that way, you don't need a quarterback early, because running quarterbacks don't have more value than passing quarterbacks necessarily. It's all
Disclaimer, I think quarterbacks should get 6 points for passing touchdowns across the board. A touchdown is a touchdown. I shouldn't get less points. I digress. Continue.
So I think that I'm definitely okay with waiting into the 4th is the earliest that I want to take a quarterback, and that's taking CJ Stroud. After that, I'm waiting till the 6th, 7th, 8th round. I've already got 1 or 2 running backs. I've got all of my my receiver slots and my flex spots filled up with wide receivers that I really like. And now it's okay for me to take whatever quarterback's available. I'm not taking somebody like Trevor Lawrence, who's disappointed for so many years, getting taken high. I'm going to take a guy that I know will have consistent games. Not about the 40-point or 50-point game. It's about 20 points every week, no matter what.
I agree. So bottom line, my strategy for PPR scoring is I wait on my quarterback. I typically wait on my second running back late, and my first 6 to 7 picks are consistent of just high volume guys. Number 1 wide receivers, running backs that are heavily targeted out of the backfield due to screen passes, or a young quarterback that's just going to dump it off in a panic. Those are little things you've got to look at as well. So,
and a high volume tight end helps a lot.
I will go 6 to 7 wide receivers straight if the value falls to me. Absolutely. Because I've done it in PPR to where I've made it to the playoffs easily with having my first 6 to 7 picks all wide receivers. And then I just figured everything else after that.
Because there's tons of value that falls later. Nobody knows what's going to happen with every position, and running backs get hurt so often. Getting a 5th-round running back and a 10th-round running back could end up having similar type of season, especially in the last 4 to 6 weeks of the season. Whenever it's a shit show for running backs for injury-wise, especially the last couple of years.
It's been rough, but hey, we appreciate you guys for hanging out. We're gonna be dropping tasty little nuggets for you throughout the year, so go ahead, hit that subscribe button down below. You could be our lucky 500 subscriber that goes ahead and activates the draw for the jersey. We'd love that to happen for you. TulsiRoseTea.com is the sponsor. We love you guys. We appreciate your time. Peace out.